Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claude and the Bansta. You all right, Lev? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claude and the Bansters for our first ever show tonight of Fight Talk. We've got Lev with us, my fellow Banster. How you doing, Lev? You okay?
Yeah, apologies for being late, mate. I had a technical hitch and the mic's not working, so I'm back to the old school headphones. And Brad, thanks for coming on, mate. Top man.
That's all right.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Also, we've got an ex-champion at cage fighting. He's hopefully going to be my new Michael Bisping of the UFC, and his name's Brad Wheeler. How you doing, Brad? Welcome to the show, mate.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. No, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. With everything going on, it's nice to get a little break from it and have a bit of normality.
Yeah, no. Thanks for coming on and giving us your inside knowledge of UFC and a bit of boxing. We'll be talking about, and obviously, first of all, we'll be talking about a little bit of your career and how it all started off, mate. Just before we do, I just want to thank everyone in the comments. If you've got any questions for Brad, save them until right at the end, and then we'll put them to Brad at the end of the show, just before we finish. So, Brad, give us a little rundown of who you are, how you got into what you're doing, and where you are now.
I'm Brad Wheeler from Romford, and I started combat sports when I was 13. I started boxing, and then I went on to doing a bit of taekwondo as well because I wanted to be like Van Damme. You know, watching all them films, I was just like, you watch like films like Bloodsport and Kickboxer and all that, and I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Oh, Bloodsport was brilliant.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Able, and so I'm doing boxing, and then I'm doing taekwondo. So taekwondo was like semi-contact, so I'm doing that, and I'm thinking, I can't hit them like full power because you have to like pull your shots where it's like point stop. And then in my boxing, I couldn't kick, so I'm thinking, so then I did a little bit of Thai boxing and a bit of kickboxing and just like floating around training. But then I'm training at this place and I can't do this, and I'm training at this place and I can't do that, and then yeah, then I was watching. I think when YouTube come around, I see UFC on there, and that caught my eyes. I was like, yeah, I thought that's like modern day Bloodsport. Do you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And I think I was about 16. I found a gym. At the time when I started, there weren't that many gyms about, so I was traveling into London. I think I was only like 16, so I'm getting over. I used to get 2 buses and a train there and back or something like that. And yeah, I pretty much did that all the way till my 20s. And then that's when the MMA clinic was in Romford, because back when I started there wasn't any gyms about really, because it was quite new to the country as well. Like, do you know what I mean? In England and that, it was quite hard to find places to train, and obviously the main places were in London, and obviously I was living in Romford and only like a kid. I didn't drive or nothing, so I was just busing and training it to the gym every day, and that's how I spent most of like my teens and early 20s just doing that. And then I think I had two amateur fights when I was 17, and then I switched to pro at 18. And I was just young and naive, and I was just like, you know what? I thought, if I beat the best guys in the country at the moment, I think they're big names. So if I take them on and win, I should hopefully get signed to the UFC quicker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but that approach, it was good in the sense that the promoter could ring me and I'd say yeah to any fight, because obviously as a fighter you just I fight him. Yeah, but I wasn't scared of no one. I would get in there with anyone. But I did have some hard fights. But for a young kid, like 18-year-old, fighting these, like I was fighting like a guy called Mark Adams, my pro debut. He was like 8-0 amateur, 4-0 pro. You know, we went decision and we had a war. Then I fought Wesley Murch, who was on the Ultimate Fighter. You know, he battered me for a round, and I come back and train with him. Then I fought Paul Reed. He was like a ranked guy, like basically like and then I fought Francis Hegan, I think, and he was like former lightweight champion. So I'm like 18, 19 years old, and I'm fighting all these experienced veterans, and I was losing, but I was holding my own. Do you know what I mean? And like I weren't just getting like ironed out completely. I was like losing decisions, or I think no, Francis did stop me actually, and so I was tough and was durable. And then I fought a guy called DJ Lima, and he battered me for a whole round. And then I come back, and he was like the one that was building up, the one on the hype train, and you know, and so the eyes want him to be the next big thing, and I beat him in the second, and then that's when I got approached by Cage Warriors. I switched over to Cage Warriors, started fighting for them. You know, I started racking up some wins and that, and then when obviously he's getting a bit more attention, and then I was having like quite a big fan base and get more friends within the area and all that. You get caught up in it a bit and got to start getting complacent because you start all of a sudden. I've gone from having these tough fights and losing that I feel like they seasoned me. Do you know what I mean? So now I'm using that experience now in these next fights, and I'm taking people out in the first round. Like, you know, like if you look on my record, like out of my 18 wins, 16 finishes. I mean, I go in there to finish. That's obviously that's why the crowd like me. Like a fan favourite at the London shows, always sell loads of tickets. Do you know what I mean? Like I got big support, and sometimes you just get a bit complacent with it, and so you forget what got you there. Like, so you're putting all that hard work in the gym, and that's why you're winning them fights. Then you get a bit complacent and caught up, like, you know, in your own hype. Oh yeah, I'm better than this guy. I'm better, and I started overlooking people and taking people lightly, and then I sort of like, do you know what I mean? Like on paper, there's fights I should have lost that I won, and then there's fights I should have won that I lost. You know, and then it's obviously it's all my own fault. Just, you know, as you're getting older, not taking things seriously, and like realistically, like in a sport like this, MMA, like if you're not taking it seriously, you're going to get hurt. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I learned that the hard way for a bit too long. You know, and that's always been my little downfall, getting complacent and not like sometimes I weren't training as properly for fights as I should have been. There's been too much of a yes man. Like friends would be like, "Oh, do you want to go out this weekend? It's so and so's birthday," and I'm thinking, "No, I've got a fight in a couple of weeks." But no, you're going, I'll go out. Do you know what I mean? Really, I wasn't. Some fights I weren't taking them as seriously as I should have, and it started to catch up with me. Do you know what I mean? You know, I'm overlooking people and not training properly, and then when I'm not taking them out in the first round, I'm losing the decision. You know, and you know, I learned it the hard way. Do you know what I mean? Like, then like you're supposed to be a professional athlete, so you got to act like one. You know, and that's where I feel like I'm at now. You know, I feel like I showed that in my last fight. You know, when I fought John Maguire, ex-UFC veteran, I wanted that fight. I wanted to win it. You know, so I've done everything for like 12 weeks. Just trained, no social life. You know, and I come out and performed. And that's the other reason I went out to TriStar for a few of my camps. I went over to Canada, trained over there with some of the best guys, like George St. Pierre's gym. You know, I was over there training with like George, Joe Duffy, guys over there. Like, and that's when I feel like I was in my element. You know, I was in, like that was me. I was happy there. Like, all I was doing was up, train, eat, nap, train, like as you eat, live, breathe, sleep, training and fighting. And when you're over there training with the likes of like them guys that growing up, I'd only ever watched them in the UFC. Do you know what I mean? Like on the telly and that. And I walk in the gym and there's like George St. Pierre in the changing rooms, and I was a bit starstruck. I'm thinking because I've only ever seen him on telly, and I'm like, "All right, George," and he's like, "You all right?" And I'm just a bit like do you know what I mean? Probably like a kid when he sees his favourite footballer or something. Do you know what I mean? That was like that was what it's like.
That's amazing.
You know, I mean, I've been over there like 3 times, and yeah, and when you're going over there, and the first couple of weeks were hard. You just getting beat up. Do you know what I mean? And then you're starting to find your groove, and then towards like the last week or two there, I was holding my own with some of the guys, and I'm thinking some of these guys are ranked like top 10, top 20 in the world, and I'm giving a good accounting for myself. You know, I spotted training with them, And then when I come back, you know, it showed in the fights. You know, like I've come back. What did I do? I'd won 6 fights in a row, and then that was always my thing. A little bit like Bisping, you know, he'd always get to that #1 contender fight, and then he'd lose. Do you know what I mean? Right,
Yeah.
so I'd won 6 fights, and I was fighting a guy, Scott Clist. They're actually good friends with him now, to be fair. And there was like,
Remember that fight, bro?
Yeah. There's like, if you beat him, like next fight will be for the title kind of thing. And it's just like, I don't know, I just didn't take the fight seriously. Should have. Again, because I was on a 6-fight win streak, I just won a title, getting a bit too big-headed about everything, and you know, end up losing that fight. So yeah, that was just like I was just saying, that was my thing, the complacency thing. Just always, you know, when I started knuckling down, doing well, I'd then fall back, get complacent, and it ended up costing me an important fight, you know. But go on, I've rabbited on a bit. I'll let you go on with the questions.
No.
Mate.
Interesting to listen to you and get your point of views across. Do you know what I mean? And listen to the other side of it, really. So basically, what you're saying is, Brad, is if you would have put your head down a bit more and just concentrated on fight, I mean, realistically, we could be looking at a Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I'd like to think I was just as good. I'd be up there with them lot. Yeah, you know what? That's what I mean. Like when I'm overtrained at the other gyms, and when I put my all into it, like I said with that last fight, that John Maguire fight, I showed exactly what I'm capable of when I train properly. And in my head now, that's if I'm gonna fight, that's how I got to approach it. Otherwise, there's no point doing it. If you're not going to do it sit properly, don't do it at all. Do you know what I mean? It's not the sort of sport you don't play MMA, you fight. Do you know what I mean? So you can't take things lightly, take things for granted. Like you're in a sport where you're punching, kicking, kneeing each other in the face. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't go in there half-hearted. Like, oh yeah, I'll just do the fight. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so that's my approach now. You know what I mean? I changed a lot of things. A lot of it was through injury. You know, I tore my meniscus and I was out, and it really put things in perspective. And that's when I realised, like, your health, you know, should come first out of everything. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, with the fights, you know, you putting your body on the line when you go in there. So, you know, and if you're not going to take it seriously, you might as well not do it. Do you know what I mean? And then that was the turning point in my head where I was like, look, if I want to carry on doing it, I've got to do it properly. And that's where I'm at now. Yeah.
Okay. We've got to read these, right? These are super chats. So, Kangaroo Jack, thank you for your contribution, mate. We are going to talk about boxing later on in the show. We'll just give you a quick answer now. He's put, who would you guys say is the best heavyweight in boxing? As far as I'm concerned, Fury is unstoppable. The only way you beat him is knocking him out.
Yeah.
Lev?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think Fury's probably the best boxer at the moment out there.
At the moment, yeah.
But as heavyweights go, you know, the one punch can change a fight. But if you want to go like skill for skill, technique for technique, I don't see anyone beating Fury unless they catch him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Liv?
Terry, yes, mate. Listen, I've got loads of questions because at the end of the day, it's not often sort of normal guys get a chance to speak to people like Brad and find out what happens behind the scenes and what is that mentality? Because like you've got a guy here who says if he's punching, he's getting pissed off because he can't kick, and if he's kicking, he's getting pissed off because he can't punch. So he wants to do both, and you know that psychology. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard enough to be a boxer, but my man's getting pissed off because he can't kick someone in the head as well. Like these are the types of people you do not want to be getting in trouble with on the street. But do you know what I mean? Because like they could do everything. They're proper fighters. They know how to fight on the ground. They know how to fight standing up. You just don't want to mess with them. But these are a few questions you don't usually get to ask. So Brad,
go on.
like if I stub my toe on the corner of a table, my eyes are going right. If I hit my shin on the corner of a leg, again, or someone kicks me on my shin, I'm feeling that shit. You guys, your shins are hitting shin on shin sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And you know you're kicking all the time, and it's got to go sometimes throughout a whole fight to take its toll on your opponent. You're wearing them down with the kicks, right? how do you go about conditioning for something like that? I mean, initially you're starting, you must be thinking, oh, that's a bit sensitive. Is it like the blood sport movies? Do you have to keep hitting things? Do you know what I mean? And conditioning them and getting them all numb.
Like, it's like obviously because I started when I was like 16 into the more MMA a bit. Like, so I've always done combat sports. Your body just adapts to it, you know. You just you get conditioned, you know, from taking kicks, checking kicks, like, and then you shouldn't kind of just get numbed out to it after a while. I remember when I was young and we started, I used to get conks on my shins all the time. You know, I'd knock and it'd swell up, and then you knock it again, and it'd be in agony. But because you're just tough, you're like, oh, you just get on with it. And like, I used to get them all the time, but I reckon I've had all the knocks out of my shins at the moment, like, because I haven't had, even my body don't acknowledge them anymore, or they're just conditioned from it. Yeah, I just think just over time of just drilling and sparring and doing it all in the gym and everything. Like, obviously in the gym you wear pads and all that, but your body just gets conditioned to it, you know. And then obviously we're like tough and you're a fighter and you get in there and like, so you just, I actually, you know what, going back to when I used to box, right? I remember when I was like 13 or something, I got beat up, like, and I was in the changing rooms afterwards crying, because I was like, because it hurt. Like, I was only a kid, and I think one of the coaches was like, "Look, like, if you can't get upset about these things, you know, this is what you're here to do. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, maybe this isn't for you." And like, but I weren't like, don't think he was saying it like to like put you off of it. I think it's to make you like, look, man up. Do you know what I mean? You're in a sport where you're gonna get punched in the face. Deal with it. And that's what kind of just toughened me up. I think just like having them. You shouldn't really have wars in the gym, but when you're young, you do. And you know, you just get used to it, and then it just toughens you up. Do you know what I mean? Where I've done it from such a young age, I mean, it is good being able to take a shot, but obviously you shouldn't really like let people hit you. You know what I mean?
No.
You got,
what about? Go on.
sorry, Lev. We've got Joe. Is it Jolon? Is it? Brad, he says, I can say without doubt that Brad had the potential to become great and still has that potential. He had it all, especially on his feet and the ground.
Oh, thanks. We like when we started together, me and Jodian, when I was like 16. I lived in Montford, he lived in Gants Hill, and we used to get the Central Line. And then I used to ring him when I was at Newbury Park, and then he'd jump on at Gants Hill, and then we go into London and go train at Bethnal Green. It goes back years.
Got Jimmy Quinn here saying Wheeler. Honestly, I mean, I've been to about 3 or 4 of your fights, Brad, and I must say, I mean, the fan base that you've got is unbelievable. I mean, how did that come about, your fan base?
I just like I was saying earlier with the fights. I think people are seeing this young 18-year-old kid getting in there fighting. Obviously, people who knew the other fights think, "Oh, that's a big fight for him. Why is he taking that fight?" And like I said, I just naive. Like in my head, I'm like, I can beat everyone. And technically, I was probably able to, but experience-wise and knowing how to, like, when you're in the gym, you got rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds. Do you know what I mean? To make mistakes and things, but when you fight, you've got three rounds. That's it, 3 5-minute rounds. So what happens in them 5 minutes is what's important. And it took me a while to realize that you haven't got, like, you go to the gym, do 2-3 hours training or whatever. You know, you go to do the fight, you've only got 15 minutes. So what happens in them 15 minutes is what matters. And but you know, I still go in there and just be going for it. And I just feel like the crowd and my friends and family and then training partners and everyone is enjoying your fights. And obviously when things started changing and I started going in there and finishing people, I'm an exciting fighter. I'd like to think I'm just easy to get along with as well, and it just built up from there. Do you know what I mean? Just around the area, being like started to become more well known with the area. Like, oh, let's spread like the cage fighter, like this and that, blah blah blah. And then when actually people like would think I was like intimidating or something, and then when they start talking to me, they're like, oh, actually, he's just a nice guy. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, well, I do that because it's what I love to do. It's my passion. You know, I love fighting. I love getting in there and, you know, having a fight. But outside of that, I've got no intentions of doing anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just feel like I feel like I don't know, I'm grateful for it though. You know, I always have a big following, and when I fight, and I always want to perform for them. Do you know what I mean? Because they're supporting me from the start. For like I said, through like all the ups and the downs, like the wins, the losses, I still bring a big following every fight, and I just like appreciate all the support from everyone, you know, that comes to the fights.
Brad, I want to pick up on this fight, especially. Remember this fight against? Obviously, you do. Against Jefferson Jewell.
Was he there, Brad?
Yeah.
At your Green. I mean, coming into this, I remember you was really excited. You was on a 5-win streak. You was getting a talk, like you said, from, you know, a couple of more fights, and obviously you could be going into the UFC. I remember you talking about seeing a smile on your face.
Yeah.
And obviously you're a little bit nervous, I suppose, because obviously you just come off of come from Cage Warriors over to Warrior Fighters, wasn't it? It was a different sort of organisation, wasn't it?
What happened was, at the time there was Cage Warriors was stopped, but all the fighters contracted were allowed a couple of fights elsewhere while they sorted things out. I think it got new owners. Do you know what I mean? And so I had a couple of fights on Warrior Fight Series, and obviously that one was for the lightweight title, and that was a war. I actually broke my jaw in that fight in the 3rd round. I broke my jaw. I've got in 5 places. I got 4 plates in my face, but
unbelievable.
I carried on and got the win. You know, and then that was the best feeling. And then they tried to interview me after the fight, and I couldn't speak because my jaw was broke. You know, but I remember it's like he caught me going into the 3rd, and he threw some massive overhand right. You can see that in the picture, my jaw, right, and I hit me, and I thought, "Oh, that ain't good." And then I picked him up, double-legged him, slammed him, and as I slammed him, I banged it against him on the ground. And I thought, God, what is going on with my jaw? And I postured up because my corner was shouting, I posture and punch. And as I postured, he hit me from the bottom. And the pain on the scale of 1 to 10, the pain was like 20. And I was just thought, oh my God, I can't have any more of that. So then I just buried my head in his chest, controlled his biceps so he didn't hit me from the ground. You know, the corner screaming, posture and punch. And I'm thinking, if you knew how much pain I was in, like, you'd understand why I'm burying my head in his chest. And a few times I felt like looking to the ref and just calling it, like, mate, because I knew my jaw was broke, like. But I had massive support there. I think I'd done like 150 plus tickets. I was fighting for a title. I was on a 5-fight win streak. I was like, it was the last round. In my head, I was just telling myself, look, get to the end of the round and you're going to win on points. Get to the end of the round and you'll win on points. And I just toughed it out, you know, with the broken jaw. Got to the end of the round and I won the decision. Do you know what I mean? Lucky it happened in the 3rd. Had it happened like the 1st or the 2nd round, you know, maybe obviously if I went back to my corner with a broken jaw, like the corner's going to stop the fight. So, well, it would be better if it didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? But you know, he has to persevere and fight through it.
I remember the atmosphere was amazing. Like you said, you had such a great big support there at York Hall. The noise was immense. I mean, that must have helped in the octagon when you was in there, mate. And I remember seeing you afterwards. Actually, you was in the back room. You probably won't remember. You was in the back room, and your jaw was just hanging all over the place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But just to see your face with that belt, just to see your face with that belt, mate. It was hard work. You know what I mean? Hard work paid off.
Yeah.
But how long was the operation?
Literally, I went in. It was horrible, to be fair. My jaw was split straight down the middle.
I remember.
It was hanging in my cheek. I could line it back up, and then I let go. It dropped back down, and blood was just coming out my mouth constantly. I remember I went to the hospital, and then they were doing me surgery in the morning, but they left me in a room, and where my chin was split open, the blood kept just dripping down my throat, and I had to keep buzzing for the nurse. You know, with that little suction thing they put down your throat when you're at the dentist.
Yeah.
Keep taking the blood out because I'm thinking, if I fall asleep, I'm going to choke on my blood. Like, so I was like, obviously, because it was nighttime in the wing, I was just trying to stay awake because I just was paranoid that if I fell asleep, I was going to choke on my blood. And so I had to keep myself awake, and then every time my throat filled up with too much blood, I had to keep buzzing the nurse to come around and suck it out with the Hoover. Right.
Oh.
And then as I was going into theatre, like I was like relieved. I just thought, when I open my eyes, my jaw's going to be back together. And it was just a bit of a struggle for a little while. Do you know what I mean? Trying to eat, I had to just blend everything up, eat everything really small, and I didn't spar for probably about 6 months. I don't think. Like, you know, like you think, you break your jaw. Was it worth it? Like on the night, that win, that buzz, that big crowd, and winning that belt, improving my record to 6-fight win streak, and that, like, yeah or no? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was quite a big cost, but it was worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, had I
Definitely.
not still been like just as good. Do you know what I mean? But you know, it's just unfortunate that and that's what I go back to saying. If you're not taking things seriously, you know, you could get hurt. You know, like that fight I took seriously, and I managed to persevere and win. But you know, imagine if I had not took it seriously, and you know, I think there was a lot riding on it. So obviously, I was at that time. Everything I was doing, I was on the ball, you know, and that's when like I said, I got big-headed. You know, I won 6 in a row, just won a title. I'm thinking in my head, he broke my jaw, and I carried on and won. No one can beat me. Do you know what I mean? And my next fight was that Scott Cliss fight.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, like he beat me. Do you know what I mean? So
I was gonna talk to you about that because obviously I think it was just under a year, wasn't it? You was out for, right, for that one. Scott, with your broken jaw.
Oh, so yeah, so I fought Jefferson in August 2015. I didn't fight again until April 2016. Yeah, so just under a year. Yes, but from when I done it in August, I didn't spar until January.
Can you hear us, Brad?
Yeah. Oh, good.
You all right, Netel?
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Brad?
You still there?
Yeah, sorry, you were saying.
No, I can hear him.
Yeah.
Can you?
Oh, can you? Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you there. Sorry.
Went for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting here waiting for you as well, mate.
That was in Camden, wasn't it? I'm sure that was in. Was it in Camden?
Yeah. So obviously from when Cage Warriors were sorting things out, I had them 2 fights on Warrior Fight Series, and then that was their like first show back, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I was like, I think that they'd said, look, win this one, you can fight for the title on the next one. I mean, like, it was a decent opponent, decent record, like Scott Cliss, but I don't know, I just, like I said, I just got a bit too big-headed about things and just thought, I'm going to run through him, blah, this, blah, that. And then I had weight cut issues, and the fight went from being meant to be a lightweight fight to catch weight, and the weight cut, like, you cut in weight, and it's horrible as hell. And my kidneys are killing me, and I'm trying to push through kidney pain to make weight. I'm thinking, yes, all right, as long as I make weight, I'll be all right. Do you know what I mean? And then it got to a point where I was in bits. Like I was laying in bed night before the weigh-ins with an ice pack on them. Got up the next morning, I did 1 bath, like to sweat the weight out, and I got on the scales, it hadn't budged. And then I rang them up because I'm thinking my kidneys are killing me. Like, really, that's my body telling me to stop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
like,
totally dehydrated yourself, haven't you?
Yeah,
So, like, yeah,
it
must be killing you.
In my head, I'm thinking, and I think that was with that time out from Jefferson George fight to that fight, and it was like I ballooned up in weight where I was inactive, and do you know what I mean? And then so it was a tough time bringing the weight back down, and you know, and then that's when also, well, I was 24 when I fought Jefferson. I felt like when I hit 25, I just got thicker and bigger, and the weight was like taking it like, and so I tried to make it that time, and yeah, I'd like really the state I was in at the weigh-ins. I got carried from my sofa to the car to the weigh-ins. I had to poker face it that I was all right just to get on the scales and do the face off, and then I went and laid down. You know, I had an IV to rehydrate. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a fight at the end of the day. It's not a weight cutting contest. You're like
No,
using
exactly.
and yeah, and then you know, hats off to him though. He calmly trained. He done what he had to do, and he beat me. Do you know what I mean? Fair play to him. Do you know what I mean? So not taking nothing away from him, but I just felt like I didn't do as much as I could have, and with the weight cut issues as well, like things could have gone differently. But it is what it is. Live and learn. Do you know what I mean?
To be honest, I mean, obviously, I was there watching you in that fight. I thought you was all over him. You know what I mean? You was all over him, and obviously the time out you had with injury, just coming back, like you said, with the weight, trying to cut weight and things like that. It just looked like you gassed out, unfortunately, mate.
Yeah.
Which it obviously sounds like you did. You know what I mean? It just he caught you with a nice punch, I think it was, and then from then it, you know, you was on the down
right at the end of the round, wasn't it? And
yeah,
obviously because the refs know me, you know, they give me the benefit of the doubt, you know, because they know that I'm tough, and I've had fights where I've took a beat and come back and won. But and then say let me, because it was on the 10-second clapper, like I got caught with a shot. So the ref let me get to the end of the round, which was like I thank him for, because obviously if I had, you know, like come back into it and won, and you know, things would have been different. But I went back to my corner and I was in la la land. I was
yeah.
I'm unresponsive. Do you know what I mean? And they stopped it, but I think that was the right decision, you know, because had I gone back out there and took another big shot while I was already not with it, you know, that could have been a bit more permanent damage. Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad that, you know, obviously I was gutted I lost, because I just won 6 in a row. I just won one title. Was told, look, win one more, you fight for the Cage Warriors title, and then all of that just snapped. Do you know what I mean? But
Terry, I want to ask a few. I mean, Brad's hit on a few things that I was really interested in. Really, is what we don't see as fans is what's going on in the background, right? And the stuff that you're saying, for example, with the making weight, and what you were going through to dehydrate yourself in order to cut and make weight. How long before the fight was that? Was that just the day before the fight time, like weigh-ins, like it was in boxing?
Yeah, you weigh in the day before.
So how do you expect to be 100% for that fight? If that's the condition you're in, that, you know, like these are things that if you don't get them right, clearly it's gonna just give the edge. And obviously you blew out in that fight. Oh, mate, I don't get it, Brad. I don't get it, mate. Like, why wouldn't you want to, like, what happened for that to happen? Why did it get to that point? You were struggling with the weight anyway because you just thickened out, like you said.
Yeah, but that was obviously the first time. I struggled a couple of times with it. Like sometimes it'd be my diet, and that. But obviously, as you get older, you get bigger. So I've been fighting since I was 17. So I started off as a featherweight. Do you know what I mean? So featherweight, and then I was a lightweight, and then so as I got older, the weight cut was getting a bit bigger, because obviously I was growing. I was filling out as becoming into a man. And
yeah, of course.
When I hit 25, I felt like, you know, because then after that fight, I was meant to fight again this guy called Tom Green, and I remember I started my weight cut. I think I was 3 kilos lighter than I'd done for the Clist fight. So I thought, because I missed weight by 2 kilos for the Scott Clist fight, and I thought, right, so if I'm 3 kilos lighter, doing the maths on it, I should make that weight. Do you know what I mean? Like if I've started the camp 3 kilos lighter, the weight cut 3 kilos, and I was just cutting ridiculous amount of weight. I was doing like 8. It used to be like 5 key, 4 key, then it was 6, then 7, then I was doing 8, then I was doing like 10 kilos in a week. It's just too much of your weight. It's over a stone. It's like, and then I think I nearly tried to cut 2 stone for the Clist fight, and you just like, you know, you do all that training in the gym, and then you go out there and like you don't perform, you know, and all what matters is what happens on the night. And at the end of the day, that's what I went to. What happened when I was going to fight Tom Green? I was cutting the weight, getting down. I got to about similar to where I was before I stopped cutting for Clist. But as soon as I felt the kidneys going again, rather than try and push through it, I just stopped and I just rang them up. I said, I ain't going to make weight.
No, that's a path to permanent damage when you start to feel the pain like that internally. You know, putting your body at risk. We look at it and we think you're putting your body at risk in the ring, but effectively you're putting your body at risk out of it by putting yourselves through that to get to that point.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you throw yourselves into a ring and let's, like, I'm like, come on. Like, I guess for fighters like you, it must be difficult because obviously you start off as a featherweight and as you get older, you're getting bigger. But then you must come against guys who are naturally just that size, fit into that size better than you. You've grown into it, but they're proper welterweights or whatever. Do you feel the difference when you go in there and you get a knock? I mean, obviously, they're not 10 ounce, 12 ounce gloves, are they? Either. Do you know what I mean? Do you feel that weight when you get hit a lot more?
It was, right? I fought a guy called Wesley Murch at lightweight, and I was 18. And he mounted me and beat the shit out of me for about 4 minutes. I managed to win that fight, but I thought, if this is what the guys are like at lightweight, like, he was a big, strong lightweight. You know what I mean? I thought, what like, well, it's going to be like. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, when you think back, that was back in 2009, and I was 18. As I've grown and got bigger and got stronger and become a man, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that same 18-year-old anymore. So, but in my head, that was the fear of moving up a weight. Do you know what I mean? So after the failed weight cut and losing the fight to Clearston, I missed weight again, and the fight didn't even happen, didn't go ahead. I thought, you know what, I've got to move up, because of just health as well. Like, if you're getting kidney pains, obviously your body's not, I've outgrown the weight class. And I moved up to welterweight, and I went at just before I fought Warren Key at welterweight. That's my comeback fight at welterweight. And that was the fight just before that fight. I'd gone out to TriStar for that fight, and I come back, and I just felt so much better at that weight. Do you know what I mean? I was low 80s. I think I was about 80, 81 or something. So I only had to cut like about 3 kilo. Like, it's a big process of water loading and then all this and that. But ultimately, really, like, now I want to try and diet as close to the weight as I can, and then do as little dehydration as possible, like 3 kilo max, really. Anything more than that, you're just going to do damage to your body, which obviously I found out the hard way. But that's like life for you, isn't it? You live and learn, you make mistakes so you can come back from it.
Exactly.
And,
that's what's happening in boxing by now, isn't it? They're all the best guys tend to stay as close to normal weight as possible.
Yeah.
Always in fighting fit, ready to go. Even Fury's on that now.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do now. Like, now I've done all that big weight cuts, and it like, at the start, when your body recovers quicker and that, when you're younger, it benefits you coming back in the bigger guy. But ultimately, like I said, it's not a weight cutting contest. It's a fight. So if you go in there and you got 1 round in you and then you lose, or you go in there, you're fit, you're strong at your weight, and you can push the pace, like the same pace for all the rounds. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather be the fitter fighter who's a bit lighter than the big guy who blows out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, just before I've got highlights of the last fight you had, Brad. But just in your last five, you've won 3 and lost 2. But against Matt Inman, I think it was, you fractured your leg. You fractured your leg and still went 3 rounds with him. I mean, what is going on here?
Oh, mate, this is the thing, being a fighter. You're too tough for your own goods. You know what I mean? I've broken jaw in 1 fight, fractured it. The thing was, I've done it about 10 days before the fight. I've done it sparring. I got caught with a kick at a funny angle, and it went, and this is my problem. Someone said, "Oh, how's your leg?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's all right." But obviously, on the inside, it's hurting more than I'm letting on. Do you know what I mean?
Bloody hell.
And that was it. Sorry. So I just fought Warren Key. I was co-main event, and the main event fight above me was Matt Inman versus Kyle Masood for the welterweight title. And so Matt lost, and I just beat Key. So the way I looked at it was like, if I beat Inman, he just was the #1 contender that I was going to get the title shot for the welterweight title. Do you know what I mean? So, like, after losing to Clearston and missing weight, I moved up to a new weight class, just stopped 1 guy, and now I'm fighting the guy who'd last fought for the title. So it was a big fight. There was a lot going on it. Again, I'd gone out to TriStar, no distractions, just to train, and I was feeling the best I felt. And when I come back to England, I was sparring, Yeah, he just unfortunately. I think also when you're getting closer to cutting the weight and all that, I think your body's a bit more like weakened a bit, and I think someone was telling me about through the dehydration or like where you're eating less to get the weight down and all that, your body starts taking minerals out of your bones, so it makes your bones a bit more brittle. And I think that's why obviously it's getting like it's just unfortunate. I mean, I got caught with a kick funny. I didn't get it checked properly. I see a sports physio. He said it was a bruised calf, and so I took his word for it. But from that sparring session, that was the last training session till the fight. So all I done the next week was water loaded and got ready to cut weight. I didn't test my leg out at all. I just thought I'd just rest it, heal it, and it'll be all right by the fight. And then in the changing rooms, we're warming up. So that's the first time I've used my leg again since I've done like damaged it. So even to this point, I didn't know it was fractured. And we're doing some warm up, we're doing some drill, and I've done a triangle. And as my leg pulled against it and the pressure went in my leg, I just had some pain shoot through my leg. So it might have been like a hairline fracture. And then whatever I've done in the warm up might have pulled it apart more. And I jumped up and I said to my corner, I was like, my leg is fucked. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, it's fucked. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know, it's killing me. And they're like thinking, like, I don't think, because I don't let, like, I'm got a higher pain threshold, yeah. I don't think they think no one knew it was as bad as it was, you know. But this is literally just before the runners just come up to 15. Do you know what I mean? So the fight that's on, you're the next fight, you know. And then during the warm up, my leg goes, and I'm like thinking I can't pull out right now, and I'm thinking, oh look, my adrenaline will kick in, it will numb it out. I'll go in there, and in my head, I'm just going to try and knock him out. Do you know what I mean? So I've gone in there. And I'm thinking, and if you watch the fight, you can see in the walkout, I'm dragging my leg. And normally when I get in the cage, I do a lap, but I didn't. I got in the cage and just went to my corner. And normally I'm light on my toes and moving around, head movement. If you watch the fight, I'm dragging my right leg the whole fight. And then Matt's got very good Thai boxing, and he'd clinch up with me, and I couldn't push off my leg. I couldn't push forward, couldn't push back, because my leg, we're clinching. And I'm using it to kind of base where I'm putting my leg to make sure I don't put too much pressure on it. Do you know what I mean? And I just got elbowed in knees for 3 rounds straight. So like all that training I've done over at TriStar, and I was probably one of the best like cardio. Like even if you watch the fight back, I think Nicholas Dalby's commentating, and he was like, "That's unbelievable. He just took all that beating, and he's got them all back to the corner, and he's not even breathing heavy." Like, because obviously there was a lot on the line for that fight. I did everything I could to train my bollocks off for it. I was just unfortunate with the injury. But up until this point, I still didn't know what was wrong with it. You know, I've done 3 rounds, got battered because I couldn't like fight properly. Then when I get checked out in the medical room, even the medic was like, "Yeah, is your leg all right? You were limping in and out the cage." And I was like, "Oh, I've got a bruised calf." And he looked at me funny. And he checked it, and he said, "You might want to get that X-ray. I think that's fractured." And then I went and got an X-ray, and turned out it was fractured. You know, had I known before the fight, I would have pulled out. You know, but I think the amount of tickets I sold, the camp I done out at TriStar, I was thinking, oh, what if I pull out? Is he going to want to fight me again? Like, do you know what I mean? There was a lot on the line. And I just thought, maybe it's not as bad as it is. And obviously, again, learnt the hard way. You know.
Oh. Well, then obviously after that you fought John Maguire in your last fight. So let's have the quick highlights of your fight here.
Yeah.
This is a fight that's 4 years old, so but it's too much at stake here now. You know, it's been a long time coming. No one can make a mistake. You know, no one can make a mistake at all. You know, you waited 4 years to make a mistake. What happened tonight? You know, keep it nice and technical, which is what they're doing. Good pressure on here. Yeah, it's good volume. Covering the same sequence. All do everything. It's really nice to see. There's that outside single. It really is. It's very hard to stop when Maguire hits it. You know, it's a bit of an old cliche, but it's coming. But there's very few people who can do anything about it. He's got that takedown down pat. John Maguire. You know, he's done very well. taking his time, being very, very patient, you know.
Yeah, so he's looking any damage at all, but probably just losing that one on the scorecard.
That's what we expected from the first round of this contest. The question: has Maguire solved those gas tank issues that have haunted him over the past few years? And can he put the Blanco performance in the second round?
Yeah, that's absolutely the question, because we've seen phenomenal first rounds from John Maguire in several fights, and then it just hasn't quite been able to maintain through.
Just go for that takedown, you know, you're winning on the floor. Brandon pretty much to try and get back up, you know. He's really flat out. He didn't try and get his guys, so he can try and do the same thing again. Take him down.
Coolidge, a number of years ago on Cage Warriors. Jason's trained with the BKK team. They've been used to playing for this guy before. Wheeler putting on the chin here. Maguire trying to get out of that corner, taking lots of short shots.
Yeah, he's going to fire back. He's going to chase it out.
With a big combination, he falls to the cage to celebrate with us. What a finish from the crazy kid.
Yes, come on.
Spent a lot of time training with Brad over the years. You've got to be feeling very, very happy about your man's performance in there.
I'm happy for him, you know. People look down on him, but I've always said to him, look,
So how was that feeling, Brad?
Well, as you see, I fell out the cage.
I'm surprised it didn't. I'm surprised it didn't fracture his leg falling out the cage with his luck. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, mate, you know what I mean? No,
Just
well,
after he wins the fight, he breaks his arm.
that fight, there was a lot on that fight. Like, I'd grown up watching John. Do you know what I mean? And then we was meant to fight years ago, 2014, and the fight didn't happen. Oh, someone's calling.
Oh,
Um,
you broke up there, Brad.
you're back.
Say it again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think he must. If he's using his phone, someone might be calling him.
Yeah, we
So,
just lost him for a second.
So talk me through your last fight, Terry.
Go on, Lev.
Talk me through your last fight, Terry. And how did it pan out, mate? Come on, we've all had one. What's your best one, Terry? The one that you would tell your grandkids.
Do you know what? The reason now I know Brad, sorry, Brad, we just lost it there, but the reason why I know Brad, I signed up to do a charity boxing match for cancer. After losing my mother-in-law a few years ago, I signed up to do a charity boxing match. And obviously, I signed up and Brad was a trainer. And obviously, he was a fantastic trainer. I must admit, Brad, you got me in right good shape.
Brad, we're going through Terry's career now, and then he reckons he can take you. He reckons it can take you as well. While you were offline, he was saying he reckons it can take. We'll have to talk about that one later. Go on, Terry, carry on.
Actually, just while you're saying that, right? Let's just bring it up. I want to bring this up. What's all this about, Brad?
Is this?
What's all this about? You know, back in the day, when McGregor was going to fight Mayweather. What's his name? Ex-champ Jesse Fagas amazingly claimed that you knocked him out in sparring.
Oh no.
Is that true?
No. Basically, what I'd like to say it was, you know what I mean? But no, I remember it was just after the Matt Inman fight, right? So I'm in cast from toe to groin, yeah. Laying in bed, I wake up one morning and my phone is going off. Everyone's going, did you knock out McGregor? Did you do this? Did you do that? And I'm like thinking, what? Like, I'm laying in bed.
Mum, give me the dinner later.
I'm laying in bed with my leg in cast from toe to groin, yeah, and I'm like, what? Do you know what I mean? And article after article, and someone taking me in this, and people that I know that know I've got a broken leg and messaging me, did you knock out McGregor? I'm like, when? When have I knocked him out? Like, if I'm like, yeah, I hopped in the ring on one leg and knocked him out with one hand and hopped back out. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, well, you might have done it when you was over in TriStar training. And I was like, no, I don't know where any of this has come from. And I think what happened was Dave, he said, I don't think he even said my name, but he said,
Yeah, Terry,
Is
if that was one of
obviously I thought
Terry,
Cage
if
Warriors,
that was one of us,
Cage Warriors, and probably thought, oh, maybe yeah, this, and they made some big story out of it. And at first, I just ignored it. I thought any publicity is good publicity. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I just
exactly, yeah.
And then it was just getting annoying. I was getting people like messaging me from left, right, and centre, like, "Oh, did you knock out McGregor? This, that, and that." And I was just getting annoyed with it. And I just like, in the end, I think like Daily Mirror contacted me and said, "Oh, can you tell us what happened?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, it didn't happen." I was like, I just fought Matt Inman. I've got a fractured leg. My leg's in cast. I don't know where these rumours have come from. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not true. And then so they posted that, and I thought that because literally, like at first it was quite all right, like you like getting messages and stuff. You think, oh, cool, like your phone's blowing up, and then it's just annoying. It's the same question over and over again. Did you knock out McGregor? Did you knock out McGregor? And I'm like, no. And so then I spoke to them, and then they put a post out saying, oh, we spoke to Wheeler, and the rumours aren't true, this and that. And then after they posted that, I got people inboxing me. Have you been paid not to talk? And I'm like think what you want to think. You know what I mean? Like, and I was just like, believe what you want to believe. Like, if I'm telling you it didn't happen, you know. But
oh,
yeah,
Terry, you know, if that was one of us, mate, you know, if that was one of us, we'd be going around, walking around with our chest out. Yeah, of course I knocked that. Yeah, of course I took him out. Yeah, and your PR team could have maybe like pushed that right to the hill and made him so pissed off they want to fight it. You wanted to fight it, Brad. Do you know what I mean? Could have done that, mate.
I could have. I didn't look at it like
if
that.
I was you, Brad,
don't worry.
if I
Next
was you,
fight,
I'd have
Brad,
been walking
we'll PR you, mate.
Wouldn't you, Lev? I'd be walking around like the old McGregor.
Lev, you knock out McGregor. Oh well, yeah. I don't really want to talk about it, lads. But yeah, you know, just stop asking about it. We all know what's happened. You know what I mean? But next time, Brad, we'll PR you, mate. We'll do your PR for you. We just have to say that, you know, maybe we'll release it again and say, look, he's going to tell the truth now. It's all out on it. It's all out on the cards. Yeah, I did knock him out. He paid me not to, you know, to say I didn't. And then we'll just we'll reignite it, mate. Run it through this channel.
Well, I just want to say thanks for Brad for letting us go through your career, mate. We're just going to move on a little bit now onto a little bit of UFC, and then we'll go on to boxing. I just want to get both of your opinions actually, on Dana White's recent announcement. He reckons that the UFC 249 will go ahead next weekend on the 18th of April. He's just investigating. Yeah, he's investigating in getting his own island and getting internal flights with the fighters flown out there.
Are you for real with this? His own island?
I am for real. Yeah, an island, honestly.
What,
and,
Dana Island? Dana Island. We are going on Dana Island to watch a fight.
That's basically what it's going to do. And obviously, at the moment, it was going to be Tony Ferguson against Khabib as the title fight. But Khabib is stuck in Russia and can't fly over. So it looks like it's going to be Tony Ferguson. We'll be fighting Justin Gaethje. Yeah, Gaethje. So I just wanted to get your views on whether you think this fight is going
in. The Khabib Ferguson fight is meant to have happened. Like, that's the 5th time it's supposed to have happened. But to be fair, what's going on in the world, right? Like, I don't know, like, you're still kind of putting yourself at risk, in you, by interacting with other people. Even if you are doing it behind closed doors and there's less people and this and that, I don't know. Like, I would think maybe, like, it's good for the fighters and for the fans because obviously everything's in lockdown at the moment. But then,
what's your take on that,
I'll be paying not to talk,
Joshua, but the next fight is happening through us. Do you know what, right? I don't get it. I mean, if I was that fight anyway with the He's probably
As a
being
fan,
smart
it's good.
about it. Do you know? But like, you know, surely there's more important things right now, and I think what you do as an organisation, set like leading from the front. Is it setting out the right message that or should they not be encouraging everybody else to stay indoors? I mean, we could all do it. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's one of them. I'd love to watch them fight.
No, yeah, exactly that.
I don't
It's
know,
like, I mean, if the fighters are all happy to go ahead and do it, you know, then that's on them, isn't it? Really? Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I'll be happy to watch it, but
yeah.
I think statistically they're more likely to get damaged in the ring than they are out of it.
Do you know what I mean? I had a couple of fights lined up. They've all been called off because of this. You know what I mean? You just got to sit back and wait for it to pass over. I mean, it's good that they are putting a fight on still, but then I don't know. Would it be better if they just like? Do you know what I mean? Didn't do it, but then yeah, like that message there, like, you know, it's your job. You're getting paid to do it, so.
Listen, the way I look at it, which I think is a bit weird, and I don't know what I would do in that situation. So let me put it to you, Brad, and then obviously Lev, you can answer afterwards. But I mean, obviously
cheers,
Tony Ferguson is like a number one contender. You know what I mean? Obviously, Kleber's got the belt, and Tony Ferguson is not the number one contender to fight him. So obviously, like you just said, he's been 5 times now they tried to fight each other, and they still ain't fought each other yet. So now he's taking the fight against the 4th in contender in Justin, right?
Yeah.
Now let's just imagine here that this fight goes, you know, to 5 rounds, and Tony Ferguson gets like injured or proper beat up. I mean, you know, then for me, he's actually risking, you know, a title fight with Khalid, which could happen in a month's time, really, once all this situation is over. So would you take this fight? Would you wait? What would you do, Brad?
I don't know, you know, like, as a fighter, you'll fight anyone. So you can understand from a fighter's point of view, you want to fight, you know, and obviously you're getting paid to fight. You've trained your bollocks off for a camp, you know, you're about to cut weight, everything's getting ready for a fight. I don't know. It's a tough one because you're taking the risk with what if you lose? But then, you know, I feel like, I don't know, it's a fight at the end of the day. Like, you're going there, Gaethje's good. Gaethje can bang, but Tony's good as well. He's so unorthodox and so awkward, and he throws elbows and weird punches. I think Tony Ferguson will win. But like you said, yeah, I mean, imagine he gets injured or badly cut, or he does get knocked out. It's going to set him back. But they're doing it for an interim title, and then obviously the title unification with Khabib when they decide to do the fight. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I probably would fight. Do you know what I mean? If it was me, you know, at the end of the day, you're a fighter. You want to fight. You know, you've trained for a fight. You know, your mindset. You got yourself all this build up to get ready to fight, and then it doesn't happen. It's devastating when you put all that work in and you don't fight. You know, so I can see why he took the fight, and then I can see why you wouldn't want to take the fight. But I think me personally, I'd probably fight still. But that's just me.
Okay.
You know, other people might want to think, you know what, I'll wait for the Khabib fight. You know, but as a fighter, you know, that mean, a different fighter might give you a different answer. But if it were me, I'd want to fight still.
Okay. What about yourself, Lev?
Well, firstly, I'm not shocked that Brad would have wanted to fight. Why does it? Like, the guy's like fighting with broken jaws, fractured leg, knows it's fractured before he goes in there, but he still, well, he doesn't know, but he knows it's fucked. Still goes in there. And you're asking this guy if he's going to cancel, if he wants to fight. Like, you know, I think me and you, Tel, would be like, oh, what? It's called off. Oh, damn, that's really, really gutted I don't have to go with Khabib this week. Do you know what I mean? But it is a tough one because obviously you get it in boxing as well, don't you? You know, like, you have to sometimes take on a fight that's a bit of a 50-50, and if it goes wrong for you, it could cost you all. But then at the same time, the other school of thought is if you aren't beating someone like that, how do you expect to go and win the title off someone? So I guess you got to be confident enough to take these guys on and beat them. Do you know what I mean? Khabib's a brute. Like what he did to McGregor, it was. I don't even thinking about that. But you got to be right on the money to beat someone like Khabib. So yeah. Plus, these guys do it for a living. Let's be honest here. They do it to earn money, don't they? As well. So
Yeah.
it's a payday for him too. You got to look at it that way. Does he want? Some people are in a position that they can't earn right now. So if he's got a chance to earn, he's thinking he's going to take it. So, do you know what I mean? As a family man, the person from the business fight to get yourself some more money, and he's still building up on the Khabib fight, and you got to back yourself to win. So, there you go. So I can see where Brad's coming from. You got to take the fight, I guess.
Okay. Archie's asked a question here. He said,
"That's all right."
Archie said, ask Brad, what do fighters actually think about going up against a guy like Khabib, especially as a striker?
Guy like Khabib, he's a strong wrestler. He's going to take you down and beat you up. He used to wrestle with bears as a kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, fighting someone like Khabib, you'd have to be on your bike. Like on your toes, hit a move, like pick him off like boxing. You'd have to, like, if you go into if you clinch up with him and wrestle with him, he's gonna try and brutalise you. I think your best bet with him is to try and stay at length. If you're taller and longer, pick him off, stay long moves, pick him off. Don't let him. You've got punch rage and kick rage. You want to stay in that. If you get into clinch range with someone like Khabib, he'll take you down. And like you've seen with everyone, like Barbosa, like all the guys, like he takes them down and he beats them up. Do you know what I mean? He beats on them and beats on them and beats on them. Like his wrestling is just like another level. The way he laces up the legs, controls the arms, and he just beats people up. And he can just do that for round after round. But every fight starts on the feet. So if you could keep it on the feet and keep on the outside and not let him get inside and get you could try like that. If I was to fight him, that's how I'd take the fight. I'd have to be on my bike, on my toes, angles, movement, feints. Like do not let him clinch with you. Do you know what I mean? Because that's his whole game, and he's undefeated for a reason. He's that good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how I'd approach a fight with Khabib. But
okay. Lev, do you want to ask another question? You got a question?
Well, mate. I mean, there's a few. Obviously, again, sort of getting under the surface of MMA rather than just like talking about previous fights and current fighters and stuff. You don't really get the chance to do these sort of things. So, training wise, I mean, obviously, you've done both the boxing, you've done the MMA. With MMA, I would imagine the condition is different because you're on the floor a lot. You could be up again on the floor, up and down. What is the difference with the conditioning between the boxing training and MMA training? Which one for you is more intense and why?
They're both intense. I think when you're boxing, it's shorter rounds but more rounds. So you want good cardio. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you just got to do everything. You've got to be doing your boxing, you've got to be doing your wrestling, you've got to be doing your jiu-jitsu, you've got to be doing your Thai boxing, and then you've got to be doing your MMA sparring, putting it together. Then you've got to be doing your wall wrestling, like your cage wrestling. Then you've got to do your get-ups. Then you've got to do your like. There's so much like many more aspects of areas because there's so much involved in MMA. Like, and then you got to do your running on top of that. Like, it is like again, it's 5-minute rounds. Obviously, the title fight's 5-5s, and you need. That's what, like I was saying earlier, you don't play MMA, it's a fight, so you got to be as best prepared as you can get yourself, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be as fit as you can be. Like, I'd say the MMA training is harder, because obviously I'm doing boxing training in my MMA training. Obviously, if I was to just do a boxing match, I'll just do that my boxing training and conditioning repetitively. But where I'm fighting for MMA, I've got to throw in all these other areas: your wrestling, your jiu-jitsu, your MMA sparring. Do you know what I mean? Like positional sparring, starting in a bad position, getting out of it, reset, reset. Do you know what I mean? And that's the hardest bit, the wrestling side of it. Like, it's constant tug of war on the muscles. It's physically just draining, and it's like, or like you do wall wrestling. One person's got what's that? What do you?
Where do you do your wrestling?
We still there, boys?
I do my wrestling over at a gym called Team Titan. I've got good wrestling over there. And I think the UK is starting to catch up with the other countries now with the wrestling. And I feel like that is a big, the biggest factor. I think if you are a good wrestler, you can dictate whether, like, the example, Khabib. If you pick where the fight goes. If you want to keep it on the feet, keep it on the feet. If you want to take it down, you take it down. And I think the better wrestler gets to decide where the fight goes. You know, obviously, if you've got good takedown defense, good movement, and you can avoid the clinch, you know, then that works. But then that works being a good wrestler in a defensive way. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, when I was over in TriStar, George St. Pierre did a wrestling class every Monday. It was such a good class. Like, you over there wrestling with like some of the best in the world, like, and it was always packed out and good rounds, wall wrestling, cage wrestling, freestyle. Like, it was just constant rounds and rounds and rounds. I have done, I have trained with Arnold before, over at TriStar. But yeah, like, obviously, so when I was over there, it was like George's wrestling class, and then the other classes with Faraz and stuff. But when I'm over in England, I do a lot of it. I do it at Team Titan down in Edmonton in London.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so what we do is we're finished talking about MMA for this time, and hopefully next time you come on, Brad, I want to dig deeper into the training, what you go through, your water loading. Tell us how you do that. I want to talk about Conor McGregor and a few other the fighters, and dig right into that. Also, once we're allowed
Terry, before we do that, before you do that, mate, one of the listeners and the viewers that you've agreed to fight Brad in a cage,
and
listen, together for it, and I'm going to be filming it.
We're not finished yet. We're going to go on to boxing, so we're talking about that at the end. The whole fight and that.
Yeah,
but,
good.
Now, what I want to say is that once we we can get back out again, and you know, Brad does gym sessions and sparring sessions and pad sessions, which you'll be able to obviously advertise on here, Brad, when you got your venue sorted out and that. We've agreed to come down to you, all of us, Claude and the Bansters, and you're going to show us how to do the moves and take us through our paces. Is that all right with you, mate?
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So just quickly, then I want to go on to boxing.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about boxing, but let's talk about this fight, the biggest fight that was happened this year, and obviously, thankfully, I was there. Yeah, I mean, the biggest fight of the year so far, boys. Fury against Wilder 2. Give us your thoughts on.
I thought that was your house party, Kel.
No, I mean, lucky enough, like I said, I was with everything that's going on at the moment. You know what I mean? I was lucky enough to get out to Vegas and the fight go ahead and be there and watch it. I mean, fantastic, absolutely fantastic atmosphere. The buzz around the place on the day before Friday. Just everyone in the MGM, where it was, the fans were unbelievable. Honestly, the noise that was coming out from 6 o'clock in the morning right the way through the night, Saturday till 6 o'clock the next morning, and then on the day itself, just a buzz around the MGM, and then you had the one thing what I couldn't believe is that you had stars just rocking up at the front of the MGM and then just walking through the MGM like it was nothing. No security random. You know what I mean? People coming up and taking photos. Just the relaxed atmosphere was unbelievable. And then obviously we see, which I couldn't believe, we were all downstairs just outside the arena itself, even though it's in the actual hotel. And then you had Wilder walking through to go to his dressing room. And then you just had all the fans, all the Fury's fans running up behind him, singing, "You big dosser, you big dosser." And this is all right the way through the MGM. Do you know what I mean? While I was going to his dressing room. It was just unbelievable. And then the atmosphere inside was just, like you just see. I mean, it was fantastic. I can't tell you how unbelievable it was.
I bet.
You know what I mean? Brilliant. And to be fair, all the way since this was announced, I said that Fury would knock him out. I said he would knock him out. I don't know about yourselves. I just think personally, in that first fight, when Wilder knocked him down, when he knocked Fury down, he just thought that was it. That was it. It's game over. Lights out. Your career's ended, basically. And then to turn around and see this man rise like the Undertaker does in WWE. Do you know what I mean? It was. I mean, that must scare anyone. It must scare you, Brad. Surely. Do you know what I mean? If you give someone your whole, you know what I mean, everything that you've got in your body, and then to turn around and see him just get up like it's nothing. I mean, that must frighten you to death, mate. Surely.
Mate, if you just drop someone and he looks like he's unconscious, like, and then he just gets up and carries on, and then probably wins the rest of the round.
Yeah. It was coming.
Like, you can see it on his face. He thought the fight was done, and then he gets up, and you see his face. He's like, "What?" Like, do you know what I mean? He just hit him with a big shot, and he's just got straight back up.
What was your view of it? You know what I mean? When he was doing his little shimmy, he was doing his shimmy. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? Watching it, I thought he was up winning. Do you know what I mean? Fury, and I thought that's the only way he loses if he gets caught. And it was the last round, but then he got back up, and I feel like it probably was a 10-8 with a knockdown, but then I feel like he'd done enough to win the round back, so he'd probably go back to like a draw round, maybe. I don't know, or 10-9. But I still feel Fury won the fight, even with the 2 knockdowns against him. Like, I think he'd done enough in all the other rounds.
Easy.
Yeah, I totally agree. What about you, Lev?
Mate, listen, as you know, I mean, we've done a couple of shows sort of talking about it before. Like, I thought he won that first fight easily. Like, I couldn't even, I couldn't believe it. But, you know, I knew it was coming because if Wilder, there was a few fights that if Wilder hadn't knocked out his opponent, he would have lost that fight. He was losing on points. It's a couple of times he was behind on the cards. He's been behind on the cards a few times, hasn't he? And the writing for me was on the wall that when he could fight somebody, take his shot or land, you know, had the ability to land shots on him. And we saw it in the second fight. Decided I've taken his best shots. If I go in as a proper heavyweight and just lean all over him, push him back, it was over. And it was, because he doesn't have the boxing skills. He's got the shot, but the boxing skills. I mean, you know, Joshua's got a. Do you know what I mean? So I was expecting it, to be honest with you. And mate, he won it easy, didn't he? I don't even know if there's any coming back from that.
The way Fury come out in that second fight, when you fight a big puncher, the 2 ways you beat him, you're on your toes and you don't let him hit you, which is what he tried to do in the first fight, and he got caught. I still feel like he won the fight. Then the other way you beat a big puncher, if you put them on the back foot, it's hard for them to sit on their punches and load up because you're putting them on the back foot. So they can't sit on them punches. They can't come forward and throw them big shots because you're putting them on the back foot. And that's what Fury done. Like, and you can see.
Yeah, he's a rangy fighter, isn't he? He's got range. He needs range to deliver the shot.
Yeah. And where Fury put him on the back foot, he couldn't deal with it. And he looked like a bit like shocked, like, well, what's going on here? Like, he didn't expect that. I think he thought Fury was going to come out, be on his toes like he normally does, feint move, flick like he done the first fight. But obviously, Fury's learned from the first fight. Right, I tried that, nearly got beat, like in the last round. Obviously, he got up. I still thought he won the fight, and he come out a different approach. He said from the start, I'm going to knock him out. He come out, he took it to him, and Wilder didn't know what to do. He never gets put on the back foot. He normally just waits and lands that one big shot. And Fury just battered him. He just took him apart. Do you know what I mean? It was perfect. And I don't think no one's beating Fury. Obviously, everyone's got a puncher's chance, but I think it's the best heavyweight out there.
Let's just. I've got another little clip here just to show. And that was just the start of the fight, and that. I mean, the atmosphere. Honestly,
I bet the atmosphere was crazy.
The atmosphere. Do you know what? I can't believe how many Irish people was there. To be honest, I mean, I know America has got a lot of Irish people out there anyway, but they was overtaking the stadium, and there weren't really no. Do you know what I couldn't believe, honestly? And I was speaking, we done a live, didn't we, Liv, at the time? You know what I mean? Live weigh-ins and things like that we were doing while I was out there. And
yeah.
I couldn't believe the night of the fight, after the second round, the American supporters were all walking out. They had enough after the second round.
Really?
Honestly, you paid all that money to go in and watch boxing. And I'm telling you, there must have been a dozen people that was around us that was American that couldn't take it no more, just got up and walked out.
They obviously couldn't take their golden boy being beaten.
But I think, do you know what? Because the way he dropped him in the first fight, and obviously all the Americans were like, oh no, Wilder won, and then obviously everyone else in the world was just like, no, obviously Fury won. Everyone's just thinking, yeah, but he'll catch him again. He showed he can catch him. And then the way Fury come out, I bet, literally after that first 2 rounds, the fight was only going one way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's getting worse as well, Terry, with all of his excuses as well. The suit, the suit was one. Yeah, that suit, it destroyed him. Like the gloves, the floppy arm conspiracy theory, which we're not going to have on our conspiracy show, which he was hitting him with. Have you seen that one? He is so desperate. They are so desperate to take that loss back. They're trying to figure out anything.
Yeah.
But is there any coming back, guys? Is there any coming back for Wilder from that? If Fury's done that to him now twice, the second time even more convincingly.
Yeah.
I mean, Brad will know better than us. Brad, the guy's beat you twice. He's beat you fighting from a distance, beat you close up, hands down. Is it worth it?
Like money-wise, mate, probably if it's in the contract and it's good money.
Probably.
Other than a payday, I don't see how Wilder does it. Like obviously he's got that one punch, but the way Fury come out and put him on the back foot and he couldn't land that punch, I don't see a third fight going any differently. If it does happen, Wilder's just doing it for a payday. But I don't think he can beat him. He got outboxed in the first fight and then he just got destroyed in the second fight. Do you know what I mean?
Wouldn't Wilder be smarter going for Joshua, right? And maybe having a chance to take all those belts off AJ, and then having more leverage in the future for another fight, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be a better option. Do you know what I mean? But I think that that's the fight that needs to happen, though. Fury, Joshua, title unification. That's the fight that needs to happen.
Yeah. So I think AJ takes. Ooh.
Sorry, Lev. Go on, mate.
That's what I was going to say. AJ, for me, AJ takes Wilder purely because he's a proper natural heavyweight, but he can box. He can box his way in. Whereas Wilder doesn't have that. I mean, yes, he's got the puncher's chance, but having seen what Fury's done to Wilder, I mean, obviously he's not as big as AJ's not as big as Fury, but I still fancy AJ for that fight. For the Fury fight, AJ Fury fight, I don't know. Having seen the way Fury can move on those, now he's at fighting fitness on a regular. It's a different prospect, isn't he? Moves incredible. angle and his speed for a big guy is ridiculous. So I don't know. That one's a tough one to call, man. Heart wants AJ, but I can see Fury winning that.
Do you know what? Archie's right here. He said this is why Fury is the best. Doesn't matter which country he fights in, Germany, America, he's won. Whereas you took AJ out for his first fight again in America, do you know what I mean? And look what happened. So, I mean...
But with that fight, in a way, it's a bit like the whole... I know it's not boxing. Justin Gaethje fighting Tony Ferguson. It's a change of opponent, short notice. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, he's going to fight one guy, then he fights this Juarez, who's unknown. You know, I probably done a me, took the fight lightly, and got beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he didn't. We were all saying he didn't look right for that fight, didn't he?
He didn't.
I mean, I'm just saying it. I don't think he wasn't right for that fight.
I think he looked too big as well. He looked well too muscle bound. He looked massive. You know, and then and also just body language. He didn't look himself.
For me, it was Eddie Earn's fault. He should never have took it to America in my eyes. AJ's won all his fights over here. He's the champion. Why take it elsewhere?
Probably that as well. Getting used to the fighting in a different time zone, fighting in a different country, fighting out of your comfort zone. I mean, you fight like, let's say like when I went to fight in London, I'm comfortable fighting there because I fight there all the time. You know, you start seeing the same faces in the arena, same faces, same people, same crowd. You know, you get taken somewhere else. Yeah, it's nice. It's a good experience and everything, but you know, how do you deal with the differences? You know, some people are all right with it. You know, other people, you know, might struggle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that was meant to be his US unveiling, though, Tel. At some point, he was going to have to do it, wasn't he? I mean, you know, you can't just keep him in cotton wool. I think maybe Brad's hit the nail on the head there. I mean, he came in big. He was expecting to fight Miller. Baby Miller, who is a bigger, stockier guy, and then he's gone up against. And to me, Ruiz is quite an underrated fighter. His hand speed for a big guy is good. Yeah. It's very good. And you know, it's probably a mixture of things. Look, he came in lighter against in the second fight, and it was easy for him, wasn't it? But when he was heavier, he got caught after he caught him, and he got caught in a strange place too. And I don't think he ever recovered from it. So, you know. These things can happen, but do you know what? At the end of the day, that's what you want, isn't it? You want people taking chances. You want people taking fights, and we want AJ to fight Fury. That's what we want, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's the fight.
Who wins? Who wins, boys? Who wins? AJ, Fury. Who wins?
I like both of them, you know, but I do think Fury wins it. You know, obviously a heavyweight, one punch can change the fight, but I think he's taller, he's longer. The way he come out against Wilder, like, do you know what I mean? If he come out and took it to AJ like that, obviously AJ can punch as well. Like, I don't know, it'd be a good fight, but if I was putting money on it, I'd put it on Fury.
Okay, Lev?
Yeah. See, this is it. I mean, look, until Fury got his act together the way he has recently, I was going to say, I've always said AJ, because AJ is a supreme professional, right? He's always at fighting weight, all the time. You could call him a week's notice, and he's still ready to fight. And Fury was living this crazy lifestyle, and you thought, oh, that would hold him back. But now that he looks like he's got his act together, really, I think I'm leaning towards Fury. But what you get with AJ is AJ's a bigger hitter than Fury, I think, and he's also got a bit more technical boxing nous than Wilder. So he's got the ability to work his way in, whereas Wilder doesn't. Wilder's just wait, you know. So it is, I don't care what anyone says, it's still, you know, I would say if it's in Fury's favour 60-40, I don't think it's like a cut and dry one. I don't think he's going to school him the way he schooled Wilder. I think AJ's physically stronger as well. So he'll be able to handle him on the inside and not be pushed around and bullied. Yeah, he's naturally strong and big, isn't he?
Wilder, I mean, he's a tiny heavyweight.
He's very skinny, but he's just a bit of a freak. It's that long leverage that enables him to get that power. Yeah, but that power comes from that long leverage.
He's only got that one punch, though, isn't he? Really, he's not really a great boxer. I mean, you look at him.
Wild, though.
No.
That's all it is. He's just in his head. I've got to land one, and that's how he fights.
Yeah.
You know, but like you said, AJ, he's a better technical boxer, and he can punch as well. So he brings different tools to the table to fight Fury. It'd be a good fight. It's the fight they need to make.
No, do you know what
It is.
I don't understand is why everyone keeps overlooking Dylan White.
I don't overlook Dylan White.
AJ's already beat him, isn't he?
Dylan
Yeah.
White, he caught him with AJ, and he rocked him in that fight with him.
Yeah.
And I think he's a tricky
Sorry,
customer.
at that weight, though, at that weight, if you get hit on the chin by a top 10 heavyweight, at that weight, you're going to feel it. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I think Dylan White is just below, like at that level, but I do think even Dylan White would have caused Wilder problems. I mean, Wilder seemed to be ducking White. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, he does deserve a shot, Dylan White. There's you can't doubt that. He's been mandatory for ages. So he does deserve a shot, 100%.
Yeah, but I think they're the bigger fights to make, isn't they? AJ Fury. I think there's not massive anything to gain from fighting White. He doesn't hold any of the belts. Them two have got all the belts between them. That's the fight. You know, if they have to fight White,
it would have made.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what about your fight that you wanted to happen, Lev? Is that still going to happen? GGG?
Do you know what? I've always wanted. If Brad don't know, I've always been interested in seeing Billy Joe against Triple G or Canelo, because I think Billy Joe offers something different as a boxer to those two, right? And I think if any type of fighter is going to cause those types of fighters problems, it's going to be that Billy Joe type fighter. You know, Angle. You know, he's a proper boxer, but
he's a bit like a Fury. Isn't he?
Video he put out. Yeah, he is a bit like a Fury, and he's a strong lad. He's a traveller, but he put out this recent video during isolation where it was something to do with like how to deal with your misses in order and stuff. And I think that might have put it the old Canelo Billy Joe Saunders fight. I don't know, checked up on it. I mean, have you heard about it? Tell.
I've heard Canelo fighting Billy Joe Saunders, but then I've heard Canelo Triple G 3. So I don't know what fight. I'd rather see Canelo.
Is that because it's been stripped? Has Billy Joe's been stripped? Apparently, Billy Joe for putting out that stupid video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what might have put the fight back.
It might be Canelo 3, but I'd rather see one of them fight Billy Joe instead. I think because they haven't fought. Neither of them have fought Billy Joe Saunders, and his style brings different, interesting. It's a good matchup for either of them because they both have different styles. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think at the moment, I think Canelo's the best.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right, here's a question. Tell very quickly. If we brought Mayweather back out, bring Mayweather back out of retirement right now.
Yeah.
Against Canelo now, do you still think Mayweather takes him?
Do you know what? When they fought the first time, Canelo had to come down, and it's harder to come down in weight than it is to go up. So I think it would depend on what weight they fought at. If he had to come down again, I think Mayweather would beat him. Do you know how? Because he was the bigger fighter and the bigger puncher, Canelo. But Mayweather used his speed and his technique and his head movement.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it would be any different because Canelo's a much better fighter. He was young when he fought him back then. I think he was like 21 or something. But now Canelo, he's filled out. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's fought at like heavyweight. I don't know what weight they'd fight at.
Yeah, that's a problem now, isn't it? Really?
Because obviously, when he fought him to start, he was a lot younger. But I think he's a much better fighter now.
That's what a lot of people.
Phenomenal.
That's what a lot of people used to say about Mayweather, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? His PR team were fantastic because obviously every fight that he took was basically on Mayweather's terms and at the best time for Mayweather to fight that person, like you just said.
Now,
It was like 19 years old. There's a lot of people out there that think that, Lev. A lot
do you
of
know
people.
what? Do you know what?
That fight should have happened a lot longer before it did.
Exactly.
But you can't take away. You can't take away the
business,
guy.
You know, taking the fights at the right time. You know,
Yeah.
you want to win. You want to win the fight, so you want to take the fight when it's best for you to take it.
Yeah.
But come on, he didn't just win the big fights. He won them quite. Any big fight he's had, he's won quite convincingly. You can't say. I mean, the guy's like he's like the Matrix, isn't he? Like,
you know what? Him versus Lomachenko, that'd be the fight.
oh my god! Do you know what? There wouldn't be a fight. They'd be making. This has been moving, like making angles. Like it'll be like a dance off, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Right, well, we'll delve more into that next time. Brad, you said
yeah.
You definitely come on next week.
No, yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on.
I mean, like I said, I hope you and Michael Bisping of the UFC, and whenever because in the future, obviously, we do watch-alongs with the UFC and boxing and things like that, and we'd love to have you with us and all in. So definitely want you to be like the Michael Bisping of the UFC for us and give us the insight.
I'll tell you what would be good, Tel. If Brad ever has another fight, ever has another fight,
we're
definitely get behind the scenes, like, and know what's going on, and do you know what I mean? See all of that. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect.
Once all this COVID-19 situation sorted itself back out and things can go back to normal, and I get another fight lined up, we'll sort something out.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Be perfect, mate. So next time I want to delve more into Conor McGregor, because I'm a big fan of Conor McGregor's. So I know that you not fought with him, but trained sort of and been in the same sort of car.
Brad's knocked him out, mate. Brad knocked him out, mate. Don't worry, we'll talk about that.
I want to delve into that. I want to delve into the training part with the water loading and things like that, and a lot more into boxing, because we was more about UFC today. But I just wanted people to get to know you yourself, mate, because obviously you're a brilliant person. I want to thank you for obviously helping me train and all with the cancer thing, what I've done. That was brilliant night that was. Yeah, no, it was good. Please, everyone, hit the like button. Go subscribe to Claude on the Bansta's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and YouTube pages. Brad, give a shout out to your page and where they can find you and what you'll be doing once all this is over. Classes you're going to be doing.
Well, hopefully after all these passes, I get back to teaching. I'm gonna start doing a pad work boxing class, but like fitness combinations and all that. I'll start posting about that when obviously things go back to normal and I can book somewhere. And I'll see what's going on with all the gyms, like, because literally until anything else happens, I don't know what's going on at the moment. But hopefully, I'll get a fight together. If you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, at Brad the Crazy Kid on Twitter, Instagram, just give us a follow and keep up to date with what I'm doing.
Excellent. No, and like I said, once all this is overwards, me, Lev, the other Bansters and Claude will go down to the gym. We'll do some behind the scenes pads. I want to see Lev get a punch from Brad. See how he can take it. See how his jaw on.
Mate, you want to be asking if Brad could take a punch from me, mate?
No, I just want to thank Brad. Brad, thanks for coming.
Only joking, Brad.
Thank you for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Right. Cheers, Lev.
Thanks for coming on, mate, and helping me do this one.
Thanks, mate. Sorry about the technical issues, but I'll have that sorted out next. I'm looking forward to these shows and getting a bit more insight from the likes of Brad and, maybe taking it a bit further and doing these pad work and all of that. It'll be quite interesting. So I look forward to it, boys.
Oh, yeah. No, it'd be good stuff.
Yeah, it'd be good.
So the world goes back to normal, we can take this further.
Yeah, exactly. I'd
Just
like to
sounds
thank
like a threat,
everyone.
Brad.
Thank you, everyone in the comments for contributing tonight, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.
Nice one, boys.